Dividing radical expressions. So there are two ways of simplifying these. If you can see that radicals can reduce, you combine them under one root, then simplify that fraction before simplifying the radical. If the radicands do not reduce, you would want to separate the roots and simplify radicals separately. Here we have square root of 8 divided by square root of 2. Since 8 is an even number, I know that 8 can be evenly divided by 2. So 8 divided by 2 gives us 4. 4 is 2 to the second power. Square root and the second power cancel, and 2 will be our solution. Here we have square root of 16 divided by square root of 25. I know each of them is a perfect square, so I'm going to separate these. So I have square root of 4 to the second out of square root of 5 to the second. Square root and the second power cancel, square root and the second power cancel. And 4 out of 5 is our solution. Here we have square root of 12 out of x to the 6. Now these two do not reduce, so I'm going to simplify them separately. We have radical 12 out of radical x to the 6. Radical 12 can be rewritten as 4 times 3 out of x to the 6. This is a second power root, so out of 2. So this becomes square root of 2 to the second, square root of 3 out of x to the 3. Square root and the second power cancel. So we get 2 radical 3 out of x to the 3. And this is our solution. Similar problem, we have square root of 50 out of y to the 8th. They don't reduce, so I'm going to separate the radicals. So it's a square root of 50 out of square root of y to the 8th. This will become square root of 25 times square root of 2 out of y to the 8th square root, so out of 2. So we have square root of 5 to the second times square root of 2 out of y to the 4th. Square root and the second power cancel, and we get 5 radical 2 out of y to the 4th. And this is our solution. Here we have square root of 7 times square root of 35 times radical 5, and I know 5 and 35 will reduce, so I'm going to combine everything under the same radical. So we have 7 times 35 out of 5. 35 and 5 can both be divided by 5, so we get 7 times 35 divided by 5 is 7. Out of 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we get square root of 7 times 7, which is 7 to the second, out of 1, which is just 7 to the second. Square root and the second power cancel, and 7 is our solution. Here we have 6 and 60 will definitely cancel, so I'm going to combine everything under the same radical. We have 10 times 60 out of 6 divided by 6. Divide this by 6. So we get square root of 10 times 60 divided by 6 is 10 out of 6 divided by 6 is 1. So this whole thing becomes square root of 10 to the second. Square root and the second power cancel, so 10 is our solution. Here we have square root of 11 times 66 out of 3. We can reduce top and bottom by 3, so we get radical 11 times 66 divided by 3 is 22 out of 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this becomes square root of 11 times, I can say 22 is 11 times 2. So now we have square root 11 times 11 is 11 to the second times square root of 2. Square root and the second power cancel. So 11 times radical 2 is our solution. That's all.